Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kat, and today I'm doing a library haul. So if you guys don't know, I really freaking love my local library. It's amazing. They're also really fast. If you ever reserve books that are at like nearby libraries, it's usually like next day or 2 days later that a book will come from the other library. So it's just amazing. They have an amazing selection, and I'm really just chuffed to be able to check out so many books from them. I have lists and lists on my library website account where I make lists for different readathons, and then I make sure and I set alarms to reserve them in time so that they arrive in time for me to do readathons with books that I want. It's like amazing. I'm in love with it. It's something I really missed living in South Korea and Japan. So being in Australia and being able to reserve books that, you know, I can read because they're all in English is just truly amazing. So I think today I have about a dozen books to get to, and these books are not in order of how much I like them or anything like that. I haven't read all of them. They are just in order for they're grouped like nonfiction, magical realism, sci-fi fantasy, and then illustrated books. So first we're going to start with nonfiction. So first I want to talk about Sugar Run by Mesha Maren. So in this one we are following a main character named Jody who has just been released from prison after 18 years, and she is on a mission down in the south of America in order to find someone and complete something that she had promised someone 18 years ago. Before she returns up to the Northwoods, I believe, in North Carolina, where her grandmother has willed her a cabin in the woods. So yes, I think this is quite interesting. It sounds very intriguing with the prison element and also the unfinished business element. And I also believe that this character picks up a female love interest along the way. So very intriguing, and I also love this beautiful, beautiful cover. Okay, next is a book that a lot of people already know probably, and it is one that I am planning to read for the Purple Cover Challenge of Reading Rush. And this is Autobiography by Christina Lauren, the writing duo in Best Friendship. We are following a main character named Tanner who is living in a very religious, mainly Mormon town, and his family moved here recently, and he has decided that for the rest of his high school experience he is going to go back into the closet until he is in a writing seminar, and the person leading the seminar, who graduated last year, is someone that Tanner is interested in. So I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I also just love the cover. I love it so much, and I'm really hoping to love this. I was meh about a previous book that I read by Christina Lauren, The Honeymooners, so I'm hoping that this one will be better and that I will love it. So yeah. Okay, next up we have Ghostwall by Sarah Moss. So this one is following a main character. Oh, library finds. I don't even know, that's funny. Like my mom, Allison. Yeah, okay. Random library stuff. So I've heard that this is really dark and creepy. We are following a girl who goes with her father to an archaeological experiment where they are trying to live as people lived in the Iron Age. And yeah, I've just heard it's dark and creepy, and I'm totally here for it. The next one I want to talk about is Darius the Great is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. This one we're following a main character who's kind of awkward. He really loves Lord of the Rings, and he's just trying to figure out where he fits in with his parents and his sister, and he's bullied at school, and then the family finds out that the grandfather is really sick. So they are planning to go back to Iran so that everyone can see the grandfather. And yeah, the main character Darius is really nervous about the trip, excited, and I think I have heard nothing but good things about this, and I've heard that the descriptions of Iran and the food there just sound amazing. So I'm really looking forward to this. This is another one that I'm also reading for Reading Rush, as is this one, Baby Teeth by Zoje Stage, maybe? This one is a family psychological thriller where the daughter is pitting against the mother to kind of get her kicked out of the family is what I gather. All I know is it's really dark and it's also very polarizing. So the reviews on Goodreads seem to either be people loving it and saying it was like amazing, or people saying like that's really effed up and that should never have been written. So I'm like, oh yes, you sound perfect for me to sink my teeth into. Ha, get it? Yeah, so I'm really excited about this. It says, we need to talk about Kevin meets Gone Girl meets The Omen. And that just sounds right up my alley. We need to talk about Kevin is one of my favorite books, and it's back there. So, okay, we're now gonna move into sci-fi or kind of futuristic realism, I guess. And I want to talk about Frankissstein by Jeanette Winterson. I'm currently reading this. I'm halfway through. I'm honestly loving it. I'm really loving it. I can't wait to wrap this up when I finish. I am loving it. I already said it like 5 times. But so this is a story, a Frankenstein retelling where we are flashing back and forth between the weekend where Mary Shelley, Percy Shelley, Lord Byron, and one other person and his lover Claire are at the Lakes District, and it's been raining all weekend, and they decide to create ghost stories. And that's where Mary Shelley gets the idea for the first sci-fi story of all time. It's Frankenstein, my favorite book of all time. And Lord Byron actually, I believe, writes the first vampire novel called The Vampire. So we're flashing back between that and a future where there is a transgender doctor named Rye who is working alongside an engineer slash AI prodigy known as Victor Stein, and he is trying to create life and bring AI to the next level. And it is awesome. So I'm like amazed. Like, this is really great. So yeah, if you haven't read this and you liked anything that I just said, check it out. And I just, complete honesty, I have tried to read other things by Jeanette Winterson. I tried to read Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit, and I also tried to read The Passion, and I was not a fan of them. So I was a little tentative to read this, but oh my god, I am so glad I did. It's great. So far, it's amazing. Another one that is kind of in the futuristic speculative realm is We Cast a Shadow by Maurice Carlos Ruffin. This has one of the most gorgeous covers like of all time. It's like silver, reflective with, yeah, I can't get over it. And we are following an unnamed main character who has worked his way up through society to be a lawyer in a firm, but in this society it is post racism. So pretty much picture where we are now and then regressing again. So a lot of people feel that they are really progressive, but actually society has worsened a lot. And the main character, all he wants to do is get a promotion and make a lot of money so that he can get a procedure for his son, so that his son's skin can be whitened, so that his son doesn't have to go what he went through. So I have read most of this, but I will share my thoughts on it in my next wrap up. So if that sounds interesting to you, then I would say go for it. This one is an ongoing allegory or satire. Just know that going in, and yes, so yeah, that's that one. Next I want to talk about magical realism slash fantasy, I guess. The Sea Beast Takes a Lover is another one that I'm working my way through. I read a story before bed. It's just kind of nice with short story collections to do that. And this is quite interesting because, of course, each story is different. So I haven't read yet the story which forms the title, but in the first story it's talking about how there's this system now in the world called crating, where when you get to be a certain age, they basically crate you into this thing which they dump in the ocean. And it's a lot of commentary. Yeah, so I don't know, right now I'm pretty like lukewarm. It's kind of an interesting read, I would say. I'm not like in love with it, but I'm also like, they're very interesting and thought-provoking. So if that sounds interesting, go for it. They are pretty dark, and they are kind of also, I've seen some reviews that people who are very religious find some of these stories offensive. So that's just something to keep in mind if you are quite a religious person. Okay, next I have The Gloaming by Kirsty Logan. Now this is a mermaidy book, which I have been meaning to read for a while. We are following a family who lives on kind of a remote island, and it's kind of magical realism. I started it and then I put it down because I read a review that mentioned that the mermaids, despite the title and despite the synopsis, were really lacking. So I'm not sure if there's real mermaids or not. If you know, like, let me know. But I am intrigued, but also I have picked up a lot of good books recently, so anything that's not catching my fancy by like page 50, I'm kind of just like, I'm putting it down and I'm gonna read one that is catching my fancy more. But yeah, please let me know if I'm being a dill about this and that I should continue to read it. Because yeah, I wanna love it, and I also wanna read The Grace Keepers, also by Kirsty Logan. So let me know. That would be amazing. All right, and then one that was kind of a recent fave, like it came out of nowhere and was awesome, was The Lamb Will Slaughter the Lion by Margaret Killjoy. It's so short and little, but I really, really enjoyed it, and it's really sticking with me. So we're following a main character named Danielle, who goes to the last town that a friend of hers was in before he committed suicide. And when she arrives, she sees a blood-red, 3-antlered deer feasting and pulling organs out of like dead carcasses. And when she gets to the town, she realizes that the town members live in kind of an anarchist state where no one is really in power, everything is free, and they, in order to protect themselves from people who want to take power, they summoned basically this deer demon who, called a restless spirit, who kills people who seek power. And everything is going fine until it starts turning on people in the town. So this is, I believed it's called horror fantasy. It's shelved as horror, but I didn't really, I can see how they would say horror, but I really just thought it was dark magical realism. So if that sounds at all up your alley, go for it. There's also like queer rep everywhere in this. And I really loved all the different kind of body modifications and the different ways people dressed in this. For such a short novel, it like really packed a punch. Yeah, so I know that there's a sequel after this, and I will absolutely be reading it. I really, really enjoyed this one. Alrighty. And then another one that is kind of, I guess it's not magical realism, kind of dystopian, perhaps, is The Water Cure by Sophie Mackintosh. So this one is interesting because I could not put it down. I read it pretty much in like 1 or 2 sittings. We're following a family who has isolated themselves on the tip of a peninsula, and they send the father out maybe once a month to get supplies, but the parents have told the daughters that the world has become this dangerous place for women where men will just hurt them and ruin them until they die, essentially. So the women are, the young women are grown up to fear men, and one day something happens and men wash up on their shores. This book, I thought it lost the plot like kind of halfway through, but I couldn't stop reading, honestly. So yeah, it was pretty good overall. Yeah, so The Water Cure. And now we're down to the last 2 illustrated books. So I want to talk about this one, which is Steampunk by Strongman. So this is a compilation of different inventions people have made for steampunk throughout the decades and the centuries, and also different artworks that people have made. So for instance, it has stuff like this, which is very cool, steampunk spiders. I don't know, just awesome stuff. So I can't wait to get to this. This is what I'm reading in the Sit at One Location challenge for Reading Rush this year. And I am very, very excited. So it talks about different artists and different movements, and I just really can't wait. It's not even like I'm a huge steampunk buff, it's just something that I saw it in the library and I was like, I mean, yeah, my life would absolutely be better if I read that book. Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited about that. And then the last one I want to talk about is one of the best children's illustrated novels I have read in a long while. So I would actually caution against this being a children's novel, even though I think it's shelved as a children's. I would say this is definitely middle grade or higher because it has some very dark content. I did read it and I reviewed it. I will leave the review where I have of it down below. But the art style is gorgeous, just absolutely stunning, like breathtaking. And there is a second one which the author is coming out with. So this is Nightlights by Lorena Alvarez. And the second one is called Hikoti, which is a type of turtle shell, I believe. But essentially this one, we're following a young girl who doesn't fit in at school. She can't really sit still. She always likes to draw a lot. And then one day there is a being which she starts to see. And it may be a manifestation or feeding on her insecurities. So that is why I would kind of caution against this for children. I would definitely say a bit of an older reader for sure. And you know, with things for children, maybe have a poke through it before you read it, depending on how your child does with a bit of more scary stuff. So if you're looking for something gorgeous that explores a bit of darker themes, then this would be excellent, yeah. So that is my library haul. I hope that you enjoyed it. I really love my library. They often have recommendation areas where there are like new books or recommended books by other people. That's how I heard about this one. Yeah, I'm just really so pleased. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button. That would be awesome. I would love to have you back. If you saw any books that you want to read or that sound interesting to you, let me know down below. Or if you've read any and have some opinions to share with me, that would be awesome. I will chat to you guys in another video. I hope you are having an awesome day. Yeah, talk to you later. Bye!